Picture this. You're floating above turquoise waters so clear you can see the ocean floor 30 feet below, surrounded by emerald islands that seem to hover magically above the sea. Where could this be? The Maldives? Maybe Bora Bora? Actually, you're looking at Palau, a collection of pristine islands in Micronesia that most people can't even find on a map. And honestly, that might be exactly how Palau likes it. Now, before we dive deeper, and trust me, we will be diving, let me ask you something. When was the last time you discovered a place that completely changed how you think about travel? A destination that made you question everything you thought you knew about paradise. Palau is that place. This isn't just another tropical getaway where you sip cocktails on crowded beaches. This is a nation that banned reef-damaging sunscreen before most of us even knew such a thing existed. A country where you literally sign a pledge to protect the environment just by stepping off the plane. And here's the kicker, it's working. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start with the basics, because Palau defies pretty much every assumption you might have about Pacific Islands. So where exactly is Palau? Raise your hand if you knew it was located about 500 miles east of the Philippines and 2,000 miles south of Japan. No hands? Don't worry, most people couldn't place it on a map if their vacation depended on it. Palau sits in the Western Pacific, part of a region called Micronesia, and it's been quietly perfecting the art of sustainable paradise for decades. Here's something that might blow your mind. Palau consists of over 300 islands, but only about 20 are permanently inhabited. The capital city, Ngarulmud, has fewer than 400 residents, making it one of the least populated capital cities in the world. Think about that for a moment. You've probably been to shopping malls with more people than Palau's entire seat of government. The story of Palau stretches back over 3,000 years, when the first Micronesian settlers arrived by outrigger canoe, navigating by stars and ocean swells in what might be history's most impressive display of maritime skill. Fast forward through German colonial rule, Japanese occupation, and American administration, and you reach 1994, when Palau finally gained its independence, making it one of the world's youngest nations.
If you're enjoying this journey so far, don't forget to like and share this video. Your support helps us share these types of videos with a global audience. Thanks. Now back to the show.
But here's where it gets interesting from a governance perspective. Palau is divided into 16 states across those 300-plus islands, which means it has one of the highest ratios of government units to population in the world. Some researchers have called it the most over-governed nation per capita. Imagine having a state government for every 1,200 people. That's more government officials per person than anywhere else on Earth. Now, speaking of things that exist nowhere else on Earth, have you ever wondered what it would be like to swim with millions of jellyfish that can't sting you? No, I'm not describing some fever dream. I'm talking about Jellyfish Lake, one of Palau's most extraordinary natural phenomena. This marine lake, cut off from the ocean thousands of years ago, became home to golden jellyfish that evolved without predators. Over time, they lost their ability to sting, creating a surreal swimming experience where you're surrounded by millions of pulsing golden orbs. It's like swimming inside a living snow globe, if snow globes were filled with harmless mystical creatures. But Jellyfish Lake is just one piece of a much larger natural puzzle. Palau's Rock Islands, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, create one of the most photographed optical illusions in the Pacific. These mushroom-shaped limestone formations appear to float on the water's surface because their bases have been eroded by centuries of waves. From above, they look like giant green umbrellas hovering over electric blue water. Let me put Palau's marine diversity into perspective for you. We're talking about over 500 species of coral and more than 1,300 species of reef fish packed into an area smaller than Los Angeles. Palau was also the world's first nation to create a national shark sanctuary, protecting these apex predators across 200,000 square miles of ocean. When you're diving here, you're not just hoping to see a shark, you're practically guaranteed to swim with them. And if that's not enough to get your attention, how about beaches that glow in the dark? Palau's bioluminescent shores light up with every step, creating ethereal blue sparkles in the sand. It's caused by microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates, and witnessing it feels like walking through stardust. Then there's Milky Way Lagoon. And no, it's not named after the candy bar. This lagoon's limestone mud has been used by locals for centuries as a natural skincare treatment. Visitors coat themselves in the silky white mud, which is rich in minerals and supposedly leaves your skin baby soft. It's like having a luxury spa treatment in one of the world's most remote locations. For freshwater adventures, Lake Nagardak stands as Micronesia's largest freshwater lake, home to saltwater crocodiles that have adapted to life in brackish water. Yes, you read that right. Crocodiles in a freshwater lake on a Pacific island. Palau keeps surprising you at every turn. But perhaps most haunting are Palau's underwater cemeteries. World War II fighter planes and ships that now serve as artificial reefs. These metal skeletons have become home to thriving coral communities, creating a surreal diving experience where history and nature intertwine. You might swim through the cockpit of a Japanese Zero fighter, while schools of tropical fish weave between the controls. Now here's a question for you. How often do you encounter a society where women traditionally hold the real power? In Palau, you're looking at one of the world's most intact matrilineal societies, where land, titles, and clan membership pass through the female line. The traditional WWII meeting houses, with their intricate wooden carvings and steep thatched roofs, serve as community centers where these social structures have been maintained for centuries. The craftsmanship involved in building these structures requires skills passed down through generations, using traditional techniques that rely on no nails or modern fasteners. Walk through any Palauan village, and you'll likely encounter the daily ritual of betel nut chewing. This mildly stimulating practice involves combining the areca nut with pepper leaf and lime powder, creating a red-stained saliva that's become synonymous with traditional Pacific Island life. It might look unusual to outsiders, but it's been a social custom here for thousands of years. Palauan cuisine reflects the island's isolation and abundance. Traditional earth oven feasts called kolam involve cooking taro, fish, and coconut-based dishes in pits lined with hot stones. These communal meals can last for hours and represent the heart of Palauan social life. The creation legends here are particularly fascinating. Local mythology tells of Uab, a giant whose body became the Palau Islands after he was tricked and killed by fellow villagers. Different islands represent different parts of his body, a creation story that locals still reference when describing their homeland's geography. You've probably never heard of Yapese stone money, but Palau plays a crucial role in its origin story. These massive limestone discs, some weighing several tons, were quarried in Palau and transported by outrigger canoe to the island of Yap. The journey was so dangerous that the value of each stone was determined not just by its size, but by the number of lives lost during transport. Ancient stone monoliths scattered across the islands hint at sophisticated engineering capabilities that archaeologists are still trying to understand. Some of these structures show remarkable precision in their construction, suggesting advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. Would you believe that Palau has more government officials per capita than any other nation, yet somehow manages to be a world leader in environmental protection? The island nation pioneered several conservation initiatives that larger countries are now scrambling to implement. The Palau Pledge isn't just a feel-good gesture. It's a legally binding document that every visitor must sign before entering the country. By signing, you promise to act responsibly and not damage Palau's environment. Break that pledge, and you could face serious legal consequences. How's that for taking conservation seriously? Palau also became the first nation to ban Reef-Safe sunscreen that contains oxybenzone and octinoxate chemicals that cause coral bleaching. This wasn't a popular decision with tourists initially, but Palau prioritized its coral reefs over convenience. The result? Some of the healthiest coral systems in the Pacific. Living in Palau comes with unique challenges that most of us never consider. Nearly everything has to be imported, making everyday items incredibly expensive. A gallon of milk can cost $8, and a basic car might cost twice what it would in the mainland United States. But residents have adapted by maintaining strong community ties and traditional practices that reduce dependence on imported goods. The diving industry has become Palau's economic lifeline, but even this is carefully regulated. Sites like Blue Corner and Oolong Channel are limited to a certain number of divers per day, ensuring that these underwater cathedrals aren't loved to death. Blue Corner in particular offers some of the most thrilling shark diving in the world, where gray reef sharks, white-tip sharks, and occasional hammerheads cruise the current-swept corner in impressive numbers. But here's what really sets Palau apart: the way it balances progress with preservation. Modern Palauans aren't trying to freeze their culture in time or reject all outside influences. Instead, they're selectively adopting technologies and practices that align with their values while maintaining the traditions that define their identity. Take tourism, for example. Palau could easily allow unlimited access to all its natural wonders and make a quick profit. Instead, many of the most sensitive sites require special permits or are completely off-limits to visitors. Some islands are considered sacred and can only be visited by clan members during specific ceremonies. This brings up an interesting question. Could you live in a city with fewer than 400 people? Negurulmud, Palau's capital, is so small that government workers often commute from larger towns. The entire governmental complex can be explored in less than an hour, and you're more likely to encounter wildlife than traffic. The floating rock islands create optical illusions that photographers dream about, but they also represent millions of years of geological history. The limestone formations were once part of an ancient reef system that was uplifted and then carved by wind and waves into their current mushroom shapes. From certain angles, they appear to defy gravity, hovering above the water like something from a fantasy movie.
Curious to dive deeper into today's episode? Click the link in the description for a detailed article exploring this incredible country even further.
Palau's commitment to conservation extends beyond just protecting pretty scenery. The nation has pioneered community-based conservation models that other countries are now studying and implementing. Local communities manage their own marine protected areas, combining traditional knowledge with modern science to maintain healthy ecosystems. The Palau National Marine Sanctuary, established in 2015, created one of the world's largest fully protected marine areas. 80% of Palau's territorial waters are now off-limits to commercial fishing, creating a massive refuge for marine life to recover and thrive. But let's talk about some of the quirkier aspects of things to do in Palau. You can snorkel in a lake filled with harmless jellyfish, explore World War II wrecks that have become coral gardens, get a natural mud facial in a remote lagoon, or watch beaches glow with bioluminescent organisms. Try finding that combination of activities anywhere else on Earth. German colonial remnants dot the islands in the form of lighthouses and administrative buildings, while Japanese influence is visible in concrete structures and engineering projects. Each colonial period left its mark, creating layers of history that make Palau feel like an outdoor museum. Ancient agricultural terraces carved into hillsides show how Palau's early inhabitants maximized their limited arable land. These engineering marvels demonstrate sophisticated understanding of water management and soil conservation, knowledge that modern Palauans are working to preserve and apply to contemporary challenges. Petroglyphs found in caves and on rock faces provide glimpses into pre-colonial life, though many of their meanings remain mysteries. Some appear to be navigational charts, others might represent spiritual beliefs, and still others could be ancient calendars or astronomical observations. Would you try swimming with jellyfish if you knew they couldn't sting you? Most visitors to Jellyfish Lake describe the experience as otherworldly, almost meditative. The jellyfish pulse gently through the water, and swimming among them feels like floating through a living constellation. The diving opportunities in Palau cater to every skill level, from shallow lagoon snorkeling to advanced drift dives in strong currents. The visibility often exceeds 100 feet, and the variety of marine life means every dive reveals something new. Whether you're watching manta rays at cleaning stations or exploring underwater tunnels carved through rock islands, Palau offers experiences that underwater photographers and marine biologists consider among the world's best. Accessibility to Palau has improved significantly in recent years, with regular flights from major Asian hubs making it more reachable than ever before. However, the limited number of flights also helps control visitor numbers, ensuring that tourism doesn't overwhelm the island's carrying capacity. A modern Palauans speak about sustainability not as a trendy concept, but as a survival necessity. Living on small islands makes the consequences of environmental damage immediate and visible. When your fresh water comes from rain catchment and your food security depends on healthy reefs, conservation becomes a matter of practical wisdom rather than ideological choice.
If you're enjoying this video and want to support the channel, consider shopping through our affiliate links in the description. It won't cost you anything extra, but it helps us cover the costs of creating more great content for you. Thank you.
Here's something that might surprise you. Palau has one of the highest internet penetration rates in the Pacific, with reliable connectivity reaching most inhabited islands. This digital infrastructure allows young Palauans to maintain connections with the wider world while choosing to remain in their homeland, reversing brain drain patterns common in many small island nations. The cost of living in Palau reflects its isolation, but residents have developed creative solutions. Community gardens, fishing cooperatives, and traditional food preservation techniques help offset the high cost of imports. Many families maintain both modern lifestyles and traditional practices, creating a unique blend of old and new. Palau travel requires some planning and flexibility. The limited number of accommodations means booking well in advance, especially during peak diving seasons. But this limitation also ensures that your experience won't be crowded or rushed. You'll have these incredible places largely to yourself. The weather in Palau remains relatively stable year-round, with temperatures rarely straying far from 80 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity that makes everything feel tropical. The dry season from December to April offers the best visibility for diving, while the wetter months bring dramatic thunderstorms that are spectacular to watch from land. Things to do in Palau extend beyond the obvious water activities. Hiking through limestone forests reveals unique ecosystems found nowhere else on Earth. Birdwatching can yield sightings of endemic species like the Palau fruit dove and Palau owl. Cultural tours provide insights into traditional practices that are still very much alive. As we wrap up our journey through Palau, consider this. In a world where pristine natural environments are disappearing, where traditional cultures are being overwhelmed by globalization, and where small communities struggle to balance economic needs with environmental protection, Palau offers a different model. Palau proves that it's possible to welcome visitors while maintaining strict environmental standards. It shows that traditional knowledge and modern science can work together to solve contemporary problems. And it demonstrates that small actions like signing a pledge or banning harmful sunscreen can have profound impacts when an entire community commits to change. The next time someone asks you about the most innovative conservation efforts on Earth, tell them about Palau. Share the story of a nation that turned environmental protection into economic opportunity, that made visitors partners in conservation, and that proved small islands can lead the world in big ideas. And if you're inspired by what you've heard today, consider making Palau more than just a destination on your travel wish list. Make it a model for how we can all live more sustainably, more mindfully, and more connected to the natural world that sustains us all. Because Palau isn't just showing us paradise, it's showing us how to keep paradise alive for future generations. And in a world that desperately needs examples of hope and practical solutions, that might be the most beautiful thing about Palau of all.
Next time, we're diving into something even more unexpected. Make sure you're subscribed to come along. Don't forget to check out our other videos on the right for more amazing stories. For more details about this video, travel guides, and travel-related items, be sure to check out our blog at WWII.com. Thanks for watching. See you in the next adventure.